Welcome to A Mason's Work, the podcast where we review Masonic symbols and illustrate how they can be used to solve problems in everyday life. With your host, Brian Mattox, a proud member of the Craftsman Online Media Network.
One of the single hardest things to do in terms of self-development, and central to any self-development activity you're going to undertake moving forward, is this single skill or attribute, and that is the ability to be honest with yourself. This is, to say this is vital is an understatement. When we talk about being honest with ourselves, it's important to understand that as a process, as a discovery process, is difficult because you are the easiest person to lie to. Lying is a strong term, and I don't really like the sort of moral underpinnings of lying as a concept. How about mislead? Let's say you're the easiest person to mislead. Okay. Sometimes you do lie to yourself, but the mechanics of this are a little bit easier if you consider that this is the deception or the part of you that is misleading you is not doing so idly, right? It's not. It's doing it in theory to either protect you from pain or avoid dealing with additional suffering and pain and all of the other stuff that comes with it. So it's not malicious in its nature. It is protective. The fundamental idea that this part of you that is misleading you is protective does take a little bit of time because to sit with and reflect and contemplate, because in a lot of cases, you're going to come to the realization that the thing it's protecting you from is more often than not the thing you most need to do. So I'm talking in sort of vague terms, but when it comes to sitting down and being honest with yourself as in reflection or looking at your own motives, that process to go on that sort of investigative journey is going to require multiple steps. It's less of a finding bedrock kind of thing and more of a slow process of refinement. Imagine, if you will, a filtration process where you're going from mud to drinkable water. This is the same kind of thing because you are going to be discovering truths in yourself that, again, initially will not be clear. And even when you kind of bite on the first little bit of honesty that comes with, that facing the truth and the courage that comes with that, you may find that you don't discover the whole truth until you continue digging or continue refining, as the case may be. So when we talk about the process of being honest with yourself, it is vitally important to understand that being honest with yourself is an act of courage. This is not an investigative process where you're attempting to find all the places you screwed up or all of the things that are going wrong and how you've caused them. This is those are sort of elementary applications of the self-discovery process, and those applications don't yield a ton because they're oftentimes used just to run yourself down. So when you are undergoing this courageous process of being honest with yourself, the other thing that must accompany that process is compassion for yourself, for all the prior versions of yourself who suffered with things that you've long forgotten. As you go through this process of becoming honest with yourself and really pursuing this discovery, that compassion and courage will be kind of both the sort of cutting edge and the healing edge of your self-discovery. Go through this. I think you'll find that that it gets easier the better you the more often you do it, the better you get at it, kind of thing. One thing that you can do as well to get a third party take on whether or not you're being honest is always ask yourself or other people around you for the opposite opinion, right? Or the opposite truth. Or, hey, I think I behave in this way. Can you help me understand how you see that behavior? That third party feedback will be useful in helping you sort of calibrate your own honesty engine when it comes to that self-discovery. This honesty and self-honesty and self-discovery, no one can call you out on it. It's yours. You're going to figure it out, and you're going to be honest with yourself or not. Like any one of the self-improvement activities you're going to undertake, it is always the eye of the needle you must go through. There's no one that can do it for you. There's no one that's going to see what happened when you made it through. This is like any of the kind of life events. None of them or most of them are invisible on your person, so people from the outside cannot see anything that happened. What you will, though, be able to do is essentially, in your own conscious experience, refine your conscious awareness based on how willing to be vulnerable and honest and courageous you are. Your life, the quality of your life will improve. Trust me on this. It's going to take a minute through the first couple sort of shadow paths that you go down, but it gets better. It gets better, I promise.
The views represented in this podcast are those of the speaker alone and are not representative of any grand or subordinate lodge.
Hi, Brian here. I wanted to thank you so much for listening to this episode. If you have any suggestions or guidance for further episodes you'd like to see or hear, whatever the case may be, please don't hesitate to reach out to me at masonswork.com, and we will try and incorporate your suggestions into a future recording. Thanks.
Freemasonry teaches us that the true work is within, a lifelong journey of reflection, discipline, and discovery. At A Mason's Work, we help Masons bring out their best selves through meaningful self-inquiry and symbolic practice. From personal reflection to lodge engagement, we offer tools that turn symbols into action. Visit us at amasonswork.com. The work is within. The time is now.